Friends here, and happy memories of being back in Rochester. Ray Schmidt's here, who is the former county attorney. We had worked together. I was mentioning to him he's in the acknowledgments, which is pretty good, and we had a lot of fun when we worked together and he was county attorney. And I see Tina Liebling here, great representative, and has done such good work for Rochester. Thank you. And mostly when I first talked to you about why I wrote this book, and I wrote it and called it The Senator Next Door. We start out here with a pretty funny story of how that title got there, and was my husband's idea. And it's because when I was first running for office, and I'm running for Senate, there's ads on TV, I've been the county attorney, and people would repeatedly come up to me and say, I know you from somewhere. And I'd say, well, I'm running for the United States Senate. And they would say, no, that's not it. I go, no, really it is. There's ads on TV, really, there are. And they said, no. Are you in the PTA? And I go, no, that's not it. And so finally we would joke that I would just say I'm the senator next door, that I live in their neighborhood no matter what. But on the bigger point, I wanted to go back to the roots of our democracy, that we are elected to represent our neighbors, right? To represent the people around us, whether that's at the city council or the mayor level or the state legislature or the United States Congress. And so many times people have gotten away from this simple idea, and if you're representing your neighbors, you better act like you're someone else's neighbor. And when they get to Washington, I figure you should treat it like one big neighborhood. Like the people that live next to you, that are your next door neighbor, you may not have chosen to live next to them, right? But they are your neighbor, and you have to find a way to get along with them, and a way to find common ground in some difficult circumstances sometimes. And so that's a lot about what the book is about. And the second thing it's about is trying to encourage people to care about our democracy. Not necessarily to always run, but to care about it no matter what side of the aisle you're on. And also it would be nice if people from sort of regular backgrounds ran for office. I think that would shake the place up a little bit. And so that's why I told my story of going from a car hop at the A&W, where, by the way, they made me wear a t-shirt. This is a true story. It was my first job, and I was in junior high, and they made me wear a t-shirt that was rather tight that said, "Take home a jug of fun." Okay? So I went from that to the United States Senate. Okay?
Well, I think right now we're in this very vitriolic time in our politics, and I wanted to make the point that there are still people of goodwill that go to Washington to represent their neighbors, and that's why I called it the senator next door. Basically, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be representing the people that send you, and when you have people that live next door to you, you don't always maybe would have picked them, but they're your neighbor and you try to work with them. And some people aren't doing that right now. So I wrote the book to make people realize that, first of all, normal people should be able to run for office, who went from being a car hop like I did to being in the U.S. Senate. And secondly, that there are people that are getting things done. And so I have a lot of stories about bills that have been passed and people that have crossed the aisle to work together. I have a section called Republicans I Have Loved to work with, and may have a lot of funny stories as well to make it more interesting. Not kind of scandal stories, but stories that are pretty funny on myself and some of my colleagues, because I always believe that you have to take the work you do very seriously. It's pretty serious stuff, but you don't always have to take yourself seriously.
And you've been asked this, but I will ask it anyway. Everyone we've asked, the first question when they showed up at our office was, well, what is she doing? Like,
if I was going to run for something else, I would have probably called it like Born to Lead. But I called it the senator next door for a reason, and that's why I want to improve things in Congress.